yesterday, a whole bunch of us were basically validated in some of the things that we had been saying for a long time about what was really going on behind the scenes and why the nation was turned so far against the president. And seeing what the real investigations are turning out and the emails and the handwritten notes and stuff like that, we basically all are really showing, this is really showing that what we were saying was the truth, and that there was a pretty big freaking lie that was shown to the American people, used against the American people, against one individual, because that individual threatened the establishment. So many of you have talked about corruption within the government and how you hate politicians and yada yada, right? Well, we're literally in the middle of an establishment war between individuals who want things to remain the same, to go the same way that they've been going for years, whether they're Republican or Democrat. And now you've got an individual that actually is going against that establishment. And what's happening to that person is incredibly crazy. And what these people are willing to do to hide information, to hide the truth, and to use their power against that individual. These people have mass amounts of power. And that's nuts if you think about it, what they're willing to do with that power to hide what really went on. That's actually what happened with Hillary Clinton. I mean, she used her power to hide what she was doing with those emails, and even trying to use a off-the-cuff statement, hey, Russia, a joke, but then, it turned into this whole thing. That's crazy. But it was done purposefully. So what does it mean for you and for me? And this is what there's people out there who just hate Trump. I get that, okay? People don't like certain people's personalities. You don't like it, whatever, okay? You didn't watch any of The Apprentice. You never bought any of Dude's books. You never just thought Dude was just a friend of, braggadocious, narcissist, okay? You can have that total opinion about him. That is completely okay. I totally understand. You might even have other issues with him. That whole Instant Access Hollywood thing that happened and all that. Well, I mean, there's people out there that basically said, okay, you know what? We're going to accept this dude for everything that he's been, everything he's done, because we understand what the alternative actually is. It is actually electing someone who is at the heart of corruption. And people are saying no. People just said no. So folks that said no, they've had to endure listening to things that were said about this guy for years that were all a lie. I mean, even the Russia, the impeachment thing, it was all a freaking lie. The whole thing was a lie. But people knew that, but people, the media was pushing that narrative because they're also a part of the lie. So is social media, it's part of the lie. And so as you are watching this, you need to understand what the real underlying truth of what this real election actually means. This isn't about the establishment Democrat or establishment Republican. This isn't about that. This is not about red versus blue and all that stuff. This is not. These people have to hide what they've been doing for years so that you remain unaware and that you remain asleep. If you remain asleep, they can do and continue to do what they actually want to do, which is to subjugate you, to make you subject to their rules. That's what we are finding out here in California. That's what you're finding out in New York. That's what you're finding out in the other states, where you have these people who don't care about actually the Constitution, but they care about keeping you safe. They care about making you do what they want you to do while they do what they want to do outside of the rules that they impose upon other people. This is what they're about. That's what corruption actually is. And you say that you want, corruption to be rooted out of the police departments, but you ignore the real statistics about where the corruption lies and who actually is battling that corruption. It's good cops fighting bad cops. It happens all the time. That's why you have IAs, okay? That's why you have internal affairs. That's why you have people that are trying within their realm of their own sphere to actually root that crap out. Is it perfect? No, neither is this nation perfect, but neither are you. So as you listen, look, watch this all stuff happening, you got to understand there is a big freaking war. I'm gonna be real straight with you. There's a big ass war going on right now, and the American people are the ones in the middle of it. And you think that this is just about, Biden against Trump? No, this is a complete ideology against another ideology. It really is. And whether, you keep calling Trump a dictator, dude is giving you more freedom and giving these governors, giving these mayors, giving these politicians freedom to act the way that they are going to act naturally. So the Republicans, they basically were like, we're going to give you freedom to be out and about. You might get sick. There might be things that happen to you, but you own that yourself. We're not going to do a complete mask mandate upon the nation because it's unconstitutional. You can't dictate that from anybody's bench. It's unconstitutional. But if you want to, rule that way, then you'll put people inside of the judiciary wing, the judicial wing of our government, who will legislate from the bench, which is what these people want to do. They want to legislate their rules upon you from our bench of justice. That's not justice. That's called using your power against the people. That's not right. So to abide by the Constitution means that you allow freedom to reign out, not your judicial action and activism. That's not what it's about. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. That's not what our nation was formed on. If you'd wanted that, you'd be back in the colonies. You'd be living in England under what their rule was. But we don't know American history, the American Revolution. We don't know what, we don't even know what the real historical background of these things are because we're not taught it. And that's what's so bad about our education system, that they were not taught the truth. And like some of these people have said, it's from the teachers' positions that they teach their activism to their students because they feel that that's their right to do so. No, it's not. You're making these kids freaking sick with your sickness. So as you're watching all this stuff unfold upon you, there'll be more things that happen. And you have to look at this from a 10,000, 30,000 foot view. What's really going on? You are being misinformed. You've been misinformed for 3.5, 4 years. The guy that was actually elected legally, truthfully, has been kept from doing his actual oath of office because of people who are trying to hide something. They've got something to hide, which is why they tried to eliminate the black vote by bringing up all this racist stuff. The racism isn't within the Republican Party right now. It's not. It's been in the past? Yes, it has. Has it been in the GOP? Yes, it has. But if it was truly there right now, you wouldn't see the guy who's represented as a Republican trying to do all he can for black people, not just about a black vote. Dude's been doing stuff like that since he was even in business. Just look at it in his own businesses. But you get to make that choice, okay? You get to see what it actually is and call it what it is. I'm an independent thinker. I think for myself. I'm watching this stuff from a 30,000 foot, 45,000 foot view. And I'm seeing where this stuff is coming from, which is why I left the Democrat Party. There are things, this is why I'm telling you, if you're going to vote anything Democrat right now, you are voting an infection. These people are hiding their Marxism, their socialism, and their communism, and their hate. They hate that. This is the craziest thing. When folks turn on their party, a black person, a gay person, a white person, a Mexican person, you become the enemy. I became the enemy. That's why people were throttling my dang posts. That's why folks are calling me all these crazy words, because I became the enemy. And that's what this is actually about. The enemy are the people who go against the narrative, who go against what has to remain in place in the establishment, so the establishment keeps power. I don't want the establishment to keep power. I want the establishment to lose all of its power, because they've been using that power against we, the American people. We, the people, are the ones who should be in control of our government, and being given that control right back to us because of our rights, guaranteed to us because of how we are created and where it is that we live. These rights have been trying to be eliminated by these people who want control of you and me. You need to understand that this is what the real fight is. This isn't about Republican versus Democrat. This is about establishment versus the freaking people. The establishment versus the people. You're not part of the establishment. The establishment's trying to rile you up against one another. That's why everything seems so freaking nuts right now. Because the establishment needs you and me to be divided. Because those folks on that TV, they're being monetized. They're being funded by the establishment. The establishment that wants you at each other's throats, us at each other's throats. And we the people have to be wiser than that. If we're not wiser than that, then we fall right into their game. We play right into their politics. This is why I walked away, because I see what it is. I'm still an independent thinker. I am conservative, but I see what the true deal is and what the real war is. You need to get a grip on that, because if you don't, you will be, it's going to all be to your detriment. Believe that.